Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It is very nice that you all come regularly to attend Ram and Prerna's classes. And I don't think there's anyone here who has not heard about Bhagavad Gita. Anybody? Okay. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, very first verse, Krishna talks about the importance of Bhagavad Gita. He says, Imam vivasvate yogam pruktavan aham avyayam. He says that I have given this knowledge first, not just knowledge, but he says imperishable science of yoga. So Bhagavad Gita is imperishable science of yoga. Mostly if we coming from India, we think it's a religious book. Yes or no? Yes. But Krishna makes it very clear. It's imperishable science of yoga. And he said, I gave this imperishable science of yoga first to sun god Vivaswan. And Vivaswan gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to Ishwaku. And this is how this knowledge has come down. And in the very next verse, he says, Evam parampara praptam. That this imperishable science of, it's important to remember this. If anyone talks about Bhagavad Gita, they say, oh, that's a religious book. We say, no, it's imperishable science of yoga. He says, it comes down in the strict disciplic succession. Now, knowledge, we all like to take knowledge, but there are three ways to receive knowledge. One is pratyaksha praman. Have you heard about that before? Pratyaksha praman, which means sensory experience. Whatever we see, we believe in it, right? Now, supposing this is a glass made of glass made of glass. That means it's clear. There's water inside. And if you put a stick inside, what does it appear? A little crooked, right? So then our eyes will say, stick is crooked. Is it true? No. So when it comes to spiritual science, when it comes to spiritual knowledge, we cannot depend on sensory experience, which means pratyaksha praman. Now, there's another way to receive knowledge is anuman praman. We know, understand anuman, right?
Aditi.
Anuman means Aditi.
Aditi.
There's somebody who's okay. So, where was I? Anuman Praman, yes. So, Anuman Praman means conclusions made from prior knowledge. Whatever, we have, so we make an Anuman, kind of a guesswork. So, are these two ways to receive spiritual knowledge? No. Then the third option the Vedas give us is Shabda Praman. Shabda means word of authority. So, let me mute. Okay, sorry about that. So, Shabda Praman, word of authority, that means authority is the supreme personality of Godhead, that is Krishna. So, whatever knowledge we receive through the authority, that is what can help us become self-realized because it's coming from perfect source, right? Perfect source is the Supreme Lord Himself. So, that is why Krishna in the chapter 4th, which is transcendental knowledge, he stresses on parampara, receiving this knowledge in the strict disciplic succession. Now, the Bhagavad Gita is based on 5 subject matters. Does anyone know what are those 5 subject matters? The spirit soul, Supreme Lord, karma, material nature, eternal time. These are the 5 subject matters. The most important one is the spirit soul. If you read chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, there are 22 verses on the spirit soul. There's been that not that many number of verses for any other topic in Bhagavad Gita except the spirit soul, because that's the foundation of spiritual knowledge, that we are not this body, but we are the spirit soul. And in chapter 2 itself, Krishna explains that na jayate mriyate va kadachit. That means the spirit soul has no birth and no death, which means it is eternal. And then he says, Dehino asmin yatha dehe paumaram yovanam jaram. Tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatrana muyati. You all know the verses too. That is wonderful. So we understand. Krishna says the spirit soul passes on from boyhood to youth to old age and then to another body after death. So important to understand the difference between body and soul. Then Krishna takes on the second. In fact, I don't know if any of you have heard of Dr. Harry Monson. No? He was born in Norway. And during World War II, he moved to Sweden from Germany. And then finally, he reached Chicago. And that's where he taught in the University of Illinois for many, many years. So he was a scientist. And he's the one from his research. Is someone okay? Yeah. Okay. Huh? Pollen allergy. Yes. Yes. Flonase and Zyrtec. Pollen allergy. Yes. So where were we? Harry Monson. Just making sure everybody is awake. Because sometimes, class on Bhagavad Gita, if someone may just fall asleep. Oh, we've heard that before, been there, done that kind of thing, right? So Harry Monson, after his research, he concluded the value of a body without a soul. Can anyone make a guess? So here's a dead body. There's no soul, no consciousness. So what do you think would be value of that body? Make a guess. Few huh?
No value.
There is, because some few chemicals are left. So there's some value. Experimentation for medical science. That's a very, very, they can donate their organs. Yes. Supposing all that is done, all that is finished. Then what is the value of that body? There is some value. Yes. Let's keep the funeral expenses aside, just the body. Funeral expenses will go to thousands, right? Yes, but dollar value. There is. According to Harry Monson, $1. Okay, she's started the bid, $1. Anyone else? $1 going once, going twice. Depending on, oh, celebrity, please. Once it's about, right, it's dead. So no one would want to preserve even a celebrity body, right? There may be some crazy people I've heard who have saved their wife's body, right? I've heard that. But let's take the general norm. Dead body, he says the value is $5.60. That's the research he did. If you Google Harry Monson, you'll get all the information about him. But when the soul is in the body, you cannot put a value on the body, right? It is so valuable. So what do we do with this body? Eat, sleep, and be merry? No. We have philosophical intelligence, so we can think about what is the purpose of human form of life, right? So this one subject covered by Bhagavad Gita is the spirit soul. So we need to understand we are eternal. And we have got this complicated machinery, which is the body, to take us across this material world. Does that make sense? So spirit soul is the main inside the body. The soul is entrapped inside this body, which is conditioned. Yes? Are we conditioned? I'll tell you an example of conditioning from my personal experience. When we go for shower, don't we shower the same way every day? Right? The arms, then this and this, right? It's like fixed, like a machine. We just shower every day. Yes or no? That's conditioning because we're used to it. Same thing we do when it comes to spirituality also. We are conditioned to act in such a way, to behave in such a way, to do certain things in a such way. So Krishna is explaining to Arjuna right from the beginning that you need to understand difference between body and soul. Spirit soul is eternal, whereas the material body is perishable once it leaves the body. So just like we feed the body, what do we give the body? Idli sambar, dosa masala dosa, vada sambar. We feed, right? I'm just telling my favorites. Because I grew up in Hyderabad. So for me, idli sambar, all that is like, I'm conditioned to that. Right? But then we need to feed the soul also, because the soul is not nourished by idli sambar. That's only the body. So the feeding, the food for the soul is chanting the holy names of the Lord, hearing Bhagavad Gita, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the food for the soul. So if we don't feed the soul and only feed the body, then we will become spiritually weak. Then the next subject matter is Krishna talks about Prakriti. We are living in the material world, right? Material nature. So we need to know where we are. What is it? How does it work? Who is in charge? Who is the one who's making all these changes in Prakriti? I heard recently there was an earthquake somewhere. In Thailand? Okay, yes. Today I was reading on Facebook, one of the devotees, very well-known devotees, passed away in that earthquake. He had gone for a business trip. That's material nature. Right? So we need to understand how does this material nature work. Then the third subject matter, I'm not saying in order of importance, but just giving knowledge in random, what is it called? Random sequence. Next comes karma. We've heard that word karma, right? But how many of us know what karma is? Did you know there are 3 types of karma? Very well trained by Prema. There is karma, akarma, vikarma. 3 kinds. So which one should we follow? Akarma. Yes, we need to follow akarma because akarma means we follow the Bhagavad Gita. We take the instructions from the Bhagavad Gita. We apply it in our lives, but we do not hanker to enjoy the results of our activity. We lead a karma-free life. What is that? Karma-free life. Complete karma-free. So, karma. Arjuna asked a question to Krishna. I want to understand karma. What do you think Krishna said? He gave a very nice verse, explained it in Sanskrit. Karmano hi api bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. He says gahana means very difficult. So he tells Arjuna it's very difficult to understand karma. Many times people come to me and say, I've been good all my life. I've not troubled anybody. I've not committed any sinful actions. Why am I suffering? Please tell me, what wrong did I do that I'm suffering? Can anyone say? That's what Krishna tells Arjuna in chapter 4. That no, it is very difficult to understand the intricacies of karma. But we can definitely get rid of our past karma if we surrender to the Lord. Towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita, what does he say? Sarva dharman parityagya mamekam sharan. You all are pandits already. But we begin being a parrot and then we realize it, right? So it's good to know these Sanskrit verses also, because that also purifies our heart. These are words of the Supreme. So it's very difficult to understand karma, but if we put Bhagavad Gita into practice, like a very simple example Krishna gives is Yagnarthat karmano nyatra loko yam karma bandhanaha. Tad artham karma kantaya mukta sangaha samachara. That if we want mukti, if we want liberation from sinful reactions, if we don't want to be bound up, then he says yagna arthat, which means you perform yagna. That means our work that we perform should be done as a sacrifice to the Lord. Now, does that mean we go to the office, we start a fire sacrifice, and then Om Swaha, and then we start working? No. That means we go with that state of consciousness that this work that I'm performing, whether it is a job or college, school, business, whatever it may be, I am going to do it as a sacrifice for the Lord, which means the state of consciousness is I am not the enjoyer. Now you may say, then what's the purpose of life? Right? If you're not going to enjoy what's, you're saying yes. What is the purpose of life? If only God is going to enjoy, right? But then we also enjoy, right? So we made idli sambar, offered it to the Lord. We eat, so we also enjoy. But we are doing it in the process of sacrifice, right? We have sacrificed. So when we work in that consciousness, then karma does not add up. Then it becomes akarma, which means no more sinful reactions. So need to understand from the Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 and 5 how we should perform our work and how we should purify our state of consciousness. Next is time. As you said, time is eternal, right? That's part of Krishna. He's the one who has given us time. Do you know how many without your calculators, how many seconds in a day? Huh? 86,400. Yes. 86,000. I did my own work. Huh? My own, no, not my own. I did my homework. Because if someone asks me, I'm like, okay, where's the calculator? You know, how many seconds in a day? 86,400. Do we ever sit down at night before going to bed and think about what we did during the day? How many seconds out of those 86,400 we used it wisely? We should, right? Time is eternal. Time is Krishna. So need to contemplate whether we use the time or we misuse the time. We need to use it wisely, because we started at 10, it's 10:23. We cannot go back to 10 o'clock. It's gone. But we used it wisely because we are hearing about Krishna. We are hearing the what? Yes, what is this knowledge called? Imperishable science of yoga. Yes. This is very attractive, right? Topic. If you want to give this knowledge to others about Bhagavad Gita, they say, do you want to hear imperishable science of yoga? They say, yes, because the word yoga is immediately attractive. So we need to figure out how are we using our time. And the fifth topic, not the least, but the topmost is who is Bhagavan? Who is the Supreme Lord? Now, I have news for you. It's called CNN News. That my name is Gita. Gita is the Supreme Lord. You agree? Yes or no? I know you don't want to be rude. You know the answer.
He said that Krishna is the Supreme Lord.
Exactly, exactly. So if anyone says I am the Supreme Lord, that is wrong. Because we need to have the qualifications. There have to be references from the scriptures that say so and so is the Supreme Lord. Brahman Samhita clearly tells us Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna is Parama Ishvara, Parmeshwara. He is the Lord of all. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Ete Chamsa Kalapumsa, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Swayam means Krishna, you yourself are the Supreme Lord. And in Bhagavad Gita, if you open chapter 5, Krishna declares it himself. Does anyone know that verse? Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwara. That means I am the Maha Ishvara. So we get references from the scriptures who is the Supreme Lord. In fact, in Vishnu Puran, there is a list of qualifications of God. Just like when we go to the doctor, I always look for the certificate on the wall, right? Qualified, bona fide, then yes, you can check my body, right? So God also has qualifications. And what are those? Aishwarasya samagrasya virasa yashashriyaha. There are 6 qualities of God in full. Samagrasya means in full. Now that is beauty, wealth. Do you all know? Beauty, wealth, knowledge, fame, power, renunciation. Now we may find some people in this world very beautiful, but still not as beautiful as God. Maybe very beautiful, but not very wealthy. Maybe very wealthy, but not very famous. Whatever it may be. So to find all these 6 qualities in to find all these qualities in one personality in full, it's only one, that is Lord Krishna. And that is what Vishnu Puran talks about. So far we've heard who we are. We are this body. Thank you. We are not this body. We are the spirit soul. We learned about Prakriti. We learned about karma. We learned about time and also about who is the supreme personality of Godhead. Now one may say, what will I benefit by understanding Bhagavad Gita, right? What's in it for me? That famous, right? WIIFM. Have you noticed that even when friendships are made, the first thought comes is, what's in it for me? If there is nothing, bye-bye, right? So Krishna knows our nature. So he's giving us knowledge that, okay, these are the benefits you will get from Bhagavad Gita. These are the core principles of Bhagavad Gita. The very first one is to develop equal vision. Right? Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavi Hastini Suni Cheva Supakicha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Samadarshina means equal vision. And one who can see everybody with equal vision, whether it is a human being, a brahmana, an elephant, a dog eater, whatever it may be, that equal vision needs to be developed. And Bhagavad Gita helps us to do that. And that person becomes a Pandita. Now, don't get scared. Pandita doesn't mean you have to shave your head and have a shikha and then move around. No. Pandita means learned. A learned person who understands who that person is, who am I, why have I come into this material world, why am I suffering, how to stop the suffering, and where do I go from here? These are very important questions. And that is what these scriptures are teaching us, especially the Bhagavad Gita is teaching us how to become a panditaha, a learned person. Then there will be equal vision, which means if there is happiness or distress, if there's success or failure, if there's pollen, no pollen, if there is heat or cold, it will not disturb us. So that means we have to come to that stage of equal vision. And when we come to that stage, then we will notice we have a connection with the Supreme Lord. We have got the phone number of the Lord. Do you know what's the phone number? Yes. So you have the phone number. So all we have to do is just chant and connect, right? But if we chant attentively, then we will actually connect. Otherwise, it'll be lip service. You know what's lip service? You're chanting, 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 and then you're browsing through internet and then watching TV and, talking to, no, then there's no connection. You see? So this is how we can, by connection, develop equal vision. Next core principle of Bhagavad Gita is choice. We love that word, choice, right? When we go to the grocery store, we want choices. Choices for different kinds of milk and cheese and bread and everything. Otherwise, it's boring, right? And everybody doesn't have the same choice, right? You may like, yes, I may want zero fat, whatever. So the choices are there. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us we have a choice. We have that minute independence. What's the meaning of minute? Teeny weeny, little, very little freedom of choice. And that minute freedom is given, that choice is given to us so we can make right decisions. One time someone asked me, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Why doesn't he force us to do some things? Why doesn't he force us to purify ourselves? Why doesn't he force us and take us back to the spiritual world? Is that love? No. If I put a gun on my husband's head and say, you better love me, otherwise, shum, is he going to love me? He'll say, oh yes, I love you, I love you, I love you. But does he mean it? No, because that's force. So Krishna doesn't want love to be by force. It has to be our free will, our free choice, our minute independence. And those who are fortunate, they take advantage of this minute independence. Bahunam janmanam ante, after many, many births. Ante means after. Bahunam means many. Jnanavan mam prapadyate. Those who are in knowledge, they surrender unto me, Krishna says. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, they understand Vasudev, Krishna is Sarvam. He is all in all. But Sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha. Such a Mahatma, a great soul, is very rare. So we all are so fortunate that today we are hearing the Bhagavad Gita. And it is not by chance. It's not that Prerna met you by chance and then by chance you have come here. No. After many, many births of piety, we all have got the opportunity to hear Bhagavad Gita as it is. So another core principle of Bhagavad Gita is choice. So we need to make right choices, which means wise choices. Arjuna, he actually chose guidance from Krishna. It was his choice. Krishna didn't put a gun on his head and say, you better sit here and you listen to me. No. And Krishna, he allowed Arjuna to choose that knowledge, right? This is called love, no force. Then a person can become self-realized. So we need to focus on our minute independence that we have and choose to use it very wisely. Next core principle is ahimsa. Ahimsa means violence. Thank you. It means non-violence. I have to make sure everybody is awake. Right? It means non-violence, which means non-violence towards all living entities, either by words or our actions. That is ahimsa. Ahimsa also means that we give this knowledge to others. If we don't give this knowledge to others, we are practicing violence. That is ahimsa. So it's very, and Krishna in the 18th chapter, he says, one who gives my knowledge to others is most dear. Is there any most or mostest? No, there's only most, right? That means topmost, most dear to him. And thanks to Rama and Prerna, they're having these sessions where you're getting opportunity to hear the Bhagavad Gita. But now there is also a choice, right? What do we do with that? Do we take on this knowledge and put it into practice? So to be able to practice ahimsa, like non-violence to all living entities, we need to perform austerities. Oh no, that word austerity is so heavy. Immediately the mind goes in the lazy mode, right? No way. Because austerity the perception we have of austerity is go to the Himalayas, sit right there and meditate, right? No. In the 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains the austerity of the mind, of the body, and the speech. When we perform those austerities, then we will be able to practice ahimsa. Austerity of speeches, always speak honestly. Not that someone is at the door and you tell your child, go tell mommy is not at home. Right? Honesty. That is the austerity of speech. And that the words that we speak, which are honest, but they have to be very pleasing, not agitating the mind of others. And it has to be beneficial. Chanting is the austerity of speech. Reciting the shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita is austerity of speech. Explaining Bhagavad Gita to others is austerity of speech. See, talking about honesty, actually, honesty is one of the 4 spiritual pillars on which our spiritual lives stand, just like this house is standing on pillars, right? If you remove the pillars, everything is going to come crumbling down. The master bedroom, this guest bedroom, everything is just going to come down. So also spiritual life stands on 4 spiritual pillars. See? Next core principle of Bhagavad Gita is teaching by example. Like the father is smoking and telling the son smoking is bad for health. Don't smoke. Is a child going to learn? No. So before we teach Bhagavad Gita or before we give this knowledge to others, first we need to practice. So teaching by example. Knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, when we put it into practice, it becomes wisdom. We become wise. So we need to practice what we teach to others. Because teaching by example is the essence of education. Does that make sense? It's the essence of education. Next core principle is humility. Got to be humble. A very nice definition is given by Srila Prabhupada about humility. He says, humility means one is not anxious to get the satisfaction of being honored by others. Very deep, isn't it? Not anxious to get the satisfaction. I walked into the room and everybody showed me respect. No. Not anxious to get the satisfaction of being honored by others. That is humility. That is a definition given by Srila Prabhupada. And we must understand humility is not weakness. A humble person is not meek. or weak. No. Humility is the key to spiritual progress. And guess what? Is the most attractive quality in a devotee, being humble. Giving respect to all, understanding all living entities are parts of the Lord, right? Krishna says, Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, that all living entities are my parts and they are eternal. So when we understand that, then that it is not very difficult to become humble. And that's an attractive quality of a devotee. Another core principle of Bhagavad Gita is teaching us how to be affectionate. Do we like others to be affectionate towards us? Well, they like that too, right? Which means we have to show affection to them too. And it should not be a barter system that you give, then I give. Or if you don't give, I don't give. No. And that affection is described by Srila Prabhupada is like that love and affection a mother has for the child, right? That's the topmost level of affection. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us to be affectionate because affection, it nurtures us to be kind, to have enriching communication, enriching relationships, right? It teaches us how, because see, when we teach Bhagavad Gita, even that should be taught with affection. It's not a ritual. Okay, let me come, give one nice Sanskrit shloka, this is the meaning, and okay. No, it's not a ritual. These are words of God, right? And Bhagavad Gita is teaching us how to develop that affection for all living entities. And that affection for Krishna and others is apparent by how kindly we deal with everybody. We like to be dealt kindly, yes? We don't want people coming and shouting at us, yelling at us. Do they do sometimes? Yes, they do. But what do we practice? We learn from Bhagavad Gita. Have you heard that saying, actions speak louder than words? See how we behave. And the way we behave is because what is inside is outside. Yes? Talking about inside, outside, I remember hearing that Steve Jobs, everybody knows Steve Jobs? Right? Everybody knows. Steve Jobs, the owner of Facebook, right? No? I need to brush up my knowledge. Steve Jobs, Apple, right? What was his consciousness? iPhone, iPhone, iMac, I, me, and mine. But guess what? When he was 7 years old, this is true. When he was 7 years old, his father asked him to help him paint the fence. Have you heard about that before? No? Okay. You have? Okay. Don't. Shh. Let's keep it a secret. So he was asked to paint the fence. He painted the fence and he says, Dad, I'm done. You can come and inspect. And the father came and he saw. He said, what, my son? You only painted the outside. What about the inside? He said, who sees the inside? Right? Father said, we see. We see the inside. So you got to paint the inside also. And he explained to him that inner work, whatever we do inside, has an outer impact. So what's inside comes out. If there is anger inside, it comes out. If there's humility inside, it comes out. You see? So we need to work inside also. And that kindness, that affection, they all will appear in the heart when we cleanse the heart of all anarthas, unwanted things. Rupa Goswami says, Adau Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivriti. So when there is faith, then we do sadhu sangha, we associate with spiritually minded people. And then we do bhajana kriya. What is bhajana kriya? Chanting. Chanting. What do we chant? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. What do we chant? We should not blindly follow. We chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is the mantra for Satya Yuga. For Kali Yuga, it is a Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So you see, when we do inner work, then there is outer impact. And Krishna tells Arjuna in chapter 3 and 5, you do your best and leave the rest to me. Are we ready to do that? Only one yes. Everyone else, I want to be, I want to be in control of the results of my activities, but it doesn't work like that. Right? Now, for us to really improve our inside, work inside, the inner work, we need guidance and training. Do y'all agree?
Yes.
Just like I want to learn music, dancing, karate, tai chi. No, I don't want to. I'm just saying, supposing I want to, you'll say this woman is crazy. She wants to do everything. But supposing I want to, who do I go to? A teacher. Wrong. I go to a bona fide teacher, not just any teacher. So also to do this inner work, we need guidance and training from a bona fide source who can teach us, who can guide us, who can train us how to improve our inner self, how to work internally. And the first step to work internally is cleanliness, cleansing of the heart. And that cleansing begins with chanting the holy names of the Lord. Then all the unwanted things in the heart like lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion, all that is going to be removed from the heart. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj gives us the 9 processes of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. These are the 9 processes of devotional service. And the first one is Shravanam, which means chanting. And you got to be awake for these twists. Shravanam means hearing. So when we hear, then we can chant, right? If we don't understand, how are we going to put it into practice? And that hearing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, then Smaranam will be automatic. Remembrance of the Lord will be automatic. And then gradually we'll be able to cover all the 9 processes. Then there's going to be peace of mind and happiness. There is pleasure in the material world for sure, right? What are the things that give us pleasure? I don't want to know. We can think about it, right? But it's all temporary. Based on our past karma, we get X number of happiness, X number of distress. That is already calculated. But then once we start putting Bhagavad Gita into practice, then that past karma starts getting wiped out. And if we lead a karma-free life, then there'll be 0 reactions. See? So for us to be able to break this cycle of misery of birth and death, we need purification. We need to purify the heart, the mind, the intelligence, the senses, the body. All that purification is necessary. And that means there has to be training. As I mentioned, perfect knowledge comes from perfect source. And perfect source is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? What are the 4 defects we have? We have imperfect senses, we are in illusion, we have tendency to cheat, and we make mistakes. Talking about mistakes, there was a group, now there are many WhatsApp groups, right? You get tired even going through them. So many messages, so many groups. So in India, in Mumbai, there was this devotee who had created a WhatsApp group. And every morning he would send out messages about Krishna, right? That, okay, Krishna is the Supreme Lord or whatever from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. He would post those messages. And there were almost 200 people in that WhatsApp group. So one day he received a message in the morning where one lady, she sent this message to this Prabhu who created this WhatsApp group. He said, Prabhu, thank you so much for a massage every morning. She wanted to put message, but she put massage. Then this devotee was like, what are all these 200 people going to think? I give her a massage every day. See, that's mistake we make, right? When we are typing a text, it automatically gives us what?
Autocorrect.
Autocorrect.
Yeah.
Oh, I learned something new today. Autocorrect. Oh, so it autocorrected message into massage. Can you imagine? So we make mistakes. So we cannot come up with perfect knowledge.
So now it's absolutely diverse, but you know what? Now they've come up with a new thing in WhatsApp. So if you send something and you see something has gone wrong, you can quickly edit it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then you can fix it and then resend.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yes.
Yes.
That's why I
You press
see.
on- Long press on it.
What do?
You long press on it.
Long press.
Yeah. On the
Uh-huh.
message, it says edit and then
Edit and change.
and then you can change it.
Oh, I learned something
That's all.
new. I used to wonder why some messages say edited,
Edited.
edited. Oh,
But you have to get to it before.
before. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And sometimes we want to delete it, but it's too late because so many have already read it.
Still you can get it.
But then no point. So many have already read, and he didn't know what to do. Massage? So we got to be very, very careful about everything that we do in life. This is just an example, right? This is just texting. But we do so many things in our day-to-day life where we may be making mistakes. Now, how do we know we are making mistakes? Because the mind is going to say, you are perfect. You don't make any mistakes, right? You are so and so. But no, we got to be very, very careful. So we need to approach a bona fide teacher who can train us, who can guide us, who can give us knowledge so that we are on the right path, on the right track, as they say. So all these core principles of the Bhagavad Gita are teaching us how, by performing austerities, don't get scared with the word austerity, because austerity doesn't mean Krishna says wake up at 2 in the morning or something like that, but trying to understand the importance of this human form of life. There has to be spiritual discipline. Do we discipline our children? It's another thing, they don't listen. That's besides the point, but we discipline them, right? In my days, when I was growing up, I couldn't even look at my father in his eyes. Respect, right? Now it's yes, what, why, how, right? Times have changed. Exactly, exactly. Even when they are sitting on dinner table, they are texting each other. Mom, what's for dinner? Oh, it's palak paneer. Oh, why didn't you make malai kofta? Oh, texting. Right? You're right, texting.
Only way we can bring them down from upstairs, texting only, not calling.
That is true. That is true. That is so true. And if you see nowadays children, they are like this, right? Because they hunched, because they are all the time on the phone. While walking also, I see people walking also and they are texting. Have you ever thought, what would we do if there were no phones?
We look at life.
Read Bhagavad Gita.
Hugs.
Hug,
Smile.
affection,
Cross
affection.
strangers in airports.
Yes,
Conventions,
yes.
Cultural
We would do
exchanges.
that.
Sometimes see sky also, sunrise,
Exactly. Talking about sunrise, I remember reading what is it that gives us happiness? There was a list. Watching sunset, huh? Walking on the beach, um, walking hand in hand with your loved one, right? Snake massage. Yes. What does that mean? Let a snake go on your body. This is what people think is happiness. Happiness. I don't know what kind of happiness, but it is happiness. But Bhagavad Gita teaches us what is real happiness. Happiness that has no beginning and no end, which means it's permanent. And that will come from Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna says, Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwara Suhri Dam Sarva Bhutanam Natvam Shantim Richati. If you want Shanti, not a lady, but Shanti, peace of mind. Right? If we want that peace of mind, then we need to understand Bhagavad Gita. That spiritual discipline begins with really taking Bhagavad Gita very, very seriously. It's actually an owner's manual. And guess what? It's password protected. Did you know that?
No.
Yes, Bhagavad Gita is password protected. Supposing I say 12 and you say 6. I say 6, you say 3. Then I say 10. What will be your answer?
2.
She, you said 2. So I said 12, you said 6. I said 6, you said 3. I say 10. What do you say?
5.
Wrong. Yes? Yes?
5.
10, 5. No, that is wrong. I said 10 and you said 5. That is wrong. This is how it's password protected. So when I say 12 and you say 6, it's counting the letters. 12 has 6 letters. When I say 6, it has 3 letters. When I say 10, answer should be? That's how it's password protected. You cannot understand just by your own. We have to, yes, we have, huh? Talking about what? What? What language? Oh, Biden language. You see? So if we want to unlock the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we have to approach a guru. That is the only way, because Bhagavad Gita is the savior of humanity. It is imperishable science of yoga. People nowadays, especially in this country, are very fond of word yoga, right? When some workers come to the house, to fix or whatever, I tell them I'm a yoga teacher, and they say, oh, what? Some yoga of the mind, not of the body, of the mind. That is what Bhagavad Gita teaches us. So it is, as parents, I'm pretty sure all of you have children. Yes, not you. Yes. It's like, nope. Nope. I know. But most of us have children, yes or no? Yes. So it becomes our responsibility to give this knowledge to them. I will conclude with one thing that happened many, many years ago. It's true. So there was this father. His son was graduating from high school. It's a big deal, graduating from high school. That I learned over here. Yeah. For us, oh, you pass. Oh, good. That's it. No, here it's a big deal, right? You go to the graduation ceremony, and then you receive a lot of gifts and flowers. Huh?
Have a
Photo session. Yes, exactly. You got to be all dressed up, and also come home and there's a surprise party. The child already knows there is a party. There's nothing surprise. See, so it's a, huh? Yes, that my child graduated. Right. Yes. So it's a big deal. So this father knew, and the child, you won't call him a child, he's a teenager who's graduating, and he's excited to know what can he get as a gift for graduation, right? What would you think? $100, $200, something like that, $500?
Maybe
You didn't get anything?
maybe car.
Maybe a car. Exactly, he wanted a car. So he told his father, nowadays children tell you, my grandson will tell me, what does he want for Christmas? So that I don't give him, inky pinky pineapple or whatever. No, he will be very specific. I want this, this, this. Yes? Yeah. Yes. So the father asked the child, what do you, not child, again I'm saying child, asked this teenager son, what do you want? He said, I want a sports car, red sports car. So father said, why don't you come with me to the dealership and you choose the car you want? This is true. This happened many years ago. So they went and he was so excited, this teenager, and he chose his red Ford Mustang convertible. Fine. The graduation day arrived. Everyone excited, but he was most excited because he was going to get a car. So ceremony over and he was impatient and he came home and he thought there would be a brand new car in the driveway. No. Then he thought maybe it's parked in the garage. Open the garage. No. Now he was angry. Father promised, where is the car? So then when he came inside from the garage and he said, Dad, where's my gift? So he gave him a box. Huh? A box, a gift wrap box. Gave it to him. Here's your car. Now can you imagine? Did my father give me a toy car? And he flung that box across the room.
There was a key.
No, listen. So don't jump the story. So then, so he threw that box and he said, I'm leaving this house and never coming back. And he was out of the door. And father was so sad. He didn't give an opportunity to the father to say something and he was out. After a few years, and the boy didn't come back. No, he didn't come back. Teenagers, anyway, after graduation, they go to college, they live in dorm or whatever it is. So after a few years, the father passed away and the mother called him up and said, your father passed away. Why don't you come for the funeral? By now, his anger had subsided and he had matured also, right? Few years, okay, whatever, past is past. And so he came for the funeral. After the funeral, his mother, she said, your father still saved this gift for you. And he said, after I die, give it to him. So she gave him that box, same box, the same gift wrap. So now that his anger had subsided, he said, let me open and see what is it. Guess what was it? A Bhagavad Gita. That would make him more angry, right? But he said, I'm sure this book is so important for my father that he wanted me to have it. There must be something inside, some treasure inside. And when he flipped the pages, there was a check for the car. That means father had written a check. He was giving him that red sports car, but only thing in the form of a check so he could go and buy his car. So what did the father do? Gave him both, material as well as spiritual. That is our responsibility. to not just give material benefits to our children, but we also give them spirituality, give them spiritual knowledge. Okay, I've talked too much. I'm going to end now. So if anyone has any questions or comments, what you call